And we are back. This is Clyborn with Chloe.
Hi, Lee. On which our friend Drew Asanero plays guitar. And before that, the Wackos doing By My Side off their CD Wackos. Those guys are great. Very talented. Love their music. Hi, Wackos.
Radiohead meets Journey. Did you know the Rod Horning project, his brother Mark plays drums?
No, I did not.
I didn't even know he had a brother.
I don't recall him mentioning that in his interview.
Mark Horning on drums. No, I don't remember that at all.
You don't remember much about most of our interviews.
That's true. I couldn't even tell you who we've interviewed. You know, I have to. That's why everything's archived.
And everything's on a list for
Otherwise,
you,
I don't
so
have
you
a
know.
freaking clue.
Mm-hmm. And who was here, Chloe, that day with that band? Oh,
That's
yeah.
why Chloe's here, because I don't have a clue what's going on. I just push the buttons. That's all I did. I'm just a.
And I keep him informed and up to date.
I'm just a glorified disc jockey that happened to get his own show. So.
Lucky you.
Coming up next
and
is
lucky me, I get to be on it.
It's true. Mm-hmm. When I'm dead, you'll take over.
That's right. It'll be the Chloe Bravada show.
Shouldn't be long by the sound.
With whoever I feel like having co-host with me.
You'll probably
if I have a co-host.
You'll probably have some young guy in a Speedo.
Oh yeah, loincloth maybe.
Loincloth. Coming up is the.
Can't talk, can ya?
I forgot who's coming up.
Del Rivers.
Del Rivers interview.
Who, by the way, had Frank Stamm with him, who was a local movie producer, more or less.
I'll tell you about Del Rivers. Sick bastard. And doesn't look anything like you think he will. Not at all. Even if you already know the guy. He just doesn't look anything like you think he would. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's also very talented.
Yes, he is very talented.
So let's get on with it. This is the exclusive interview of Del Rivers, live on the Clyborn Yates show with Clyborn Yates and Chloe Bravada. And in studio tonight, we've got the illustrious Del Rivers.
Yes.
And Chloe Bravada is over here going to help me with the harder questions. How you doing, Chloe?
Great. How are you? Hi, Del. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it feels good. I traveled in from Buffalo with my friend Frank Stamm, the filmmaker. And he's setting up shop here with a video camera.
Hey, Frank. How you doing?
Pretty well.
So we're shooting video here. I told him, don't get me when I'm picking my nose.
Right. Or do anything strange.
Del Rivers. I love that name. It just flows right off the tongue.
Yep. I thought of it. I'll tell you a little story about that.
Came all the way in from Greece, New York.
Greece, New York.
I heard they were having financial problems.
Greece, New York? Yeah, they're like Rochester, New York. They're having like unemployment.
Or is that the country?
That's the country, but it's also Rochester.
Okay, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them what you do.
My name is Del Rivers. I came up with the name Del from Del Shannon and Rivers from Johnny Rivers. I took two names and popped them together and made my own name.
Okay.
Like we were saying, there's only one or two other Del Rivers, but I'm the one that does the music stuff.
You could change your middle name.
Yeah, add a middle name.
Del frickin' Rivers.
Frickin'. That sounds good.
Yeah, nobody else
like
has that. Nobody. Are you originally from Western New York?
Yeah, I'm from Rochester, New York. I was born right in the center, Pennsylvania Avenue, down in the city by the public market, around that area. And then moved out to Greece during the 60s riots. My parents didn't want to be next to, the riots that were happening, and they moved out to Greece in 1967. And then I moved out to California briefly for about a year and a half total, and moved back. Came back in the 1990 on a train after the big earthquake.
Eesh.
Remember that?
You were there for the earthquake?
Yep.
Oh, of course I was there.
I was scared to go back into buildings after that.
I was luckily sitting in a car at a red light when it hit.
Really?
It was 5:03 or something like that?
Yeah.
I had just gotten out of work. I was in my car.
I was in like a 20-story building.
Oh, my God.
And it's the first time I hugged somebody's leg. I was so scared. I was underneath the table hugging somebody's leg as the building was going back and forth like a metronome. Luckily, it was an earthquake-proof building.
Wow.
Yeah, I slept out on my front lawn that night.
Yeah, I think we did too. We put the couch outside, just stayed outside.
Everybody pulled all the food out of their freezers because there was no power.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody had barbecues in the whole neighborhood.
Yep, barbecues.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, look, I got this steak. Didn't even know was in there from 1914.
There was a lot of aftershocks. A lot of aftershocks.
Oh,
you know,
we had a 6.2 aftershock early that morning when I was sleeping on my porch.
Wow.
Out on the grass, and it got cold because it was.
It actually killed our FedEx driver.
It was pretty chilly.
When I was working downtown, the FedEx driver got crushed under the bridge.
Oh.
Sadly.
Yuck.
One of them, I guess. That was a bad time. I remember that. Don't mean to bring you down. I'm sorry about that.
That's
remember that.
No, those are great memories. I really love.
Well, there is some good stuff to that. I mean, you remember the good parts of it. The good stuff like the barbecues and things.
Actually, that was the night when I met all my neighbors.
Oh, that's great.
There was nothing else to do. We all went outside and wandered around on the street. It was sort of like the zombie apocalypse,
It was. I remember it.
These guys are pulling out whiskey bottles. I had this. I got this from my ex-wife. She died. God bless her heart.
Wow.
And they're, we're just, it was great. So
yeah,
it brought the community together.
Oh, yeah.
And screwed up traffic for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it took a while because they lost that bridge, the main bridge that goes into San Francisco.
Yeah, the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
That's why there's a new Bay Bridge now.
Yep.
So if you want to unite a community, you have to have an earthquake?
What's that?
If you want to unite a community, you have to have an
earthquake?
earthquake?
To unite the community,
Some kind of disaster. Godzilla, things like that.
The zombies.
Nice.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I was actually in a zombie movie, with my friend, not my friend here, but with a different director. I did a movie that hasn't come out yet.
Really?
Yeah. I played the part of a zombie with a suit on, and I attacked the guy and bit his
You would
side
make
of his
a
head.
great zombie. I can see it now. Yes. One eye
see
is
pictures of
completely
it.
gone.
Where was this?
In Rochester.
Oh,
We
yeah?
just went to some bar that had like a back field, and they filmed all of us walking through the field like zombies.
Wow. And when can we expect to see this?
It might be coming out, but I don't know if they cut my part out or not. I have to find out.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Let
the
us
name of
know.
it. I just can't. I think it was called Rip. Something Rip. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, you'll have to let us know.
Yeah, it's on my website, I think, somewhere. If you see my pictures.
Yeah, we saw it.
Like FedEx, about the free, what do you call it, the Facebook website.
Okay, so you've been performing for how long?
Well, this is the thing. I write songs, but I've only performed probably like a handful of times, both hands.
Oh, really?
I've done comedy. I used to do stand-up comedy a lot of times, but as far as music, I've only done it about a handful of times.
Mm-hmm.
I write songs mostly for McFadden's Parachute, and I did a couple things with Luther and the BBBs, which used to be a popular band in the 80s. And I still see my friend Luther on occasion. He hasn't written anything, but he still puts out CDs and stuff like that.
And so are you planning on playing out more?
I eventually want to get a band together to play out, but I suffer from a genetic, or not genetic, but like a disability in my feet. I have neuropathy.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it hard for me to do anything. I'm always in pain all the time. Kind of gotten past the point where I would just go out in my 20s, and have a band together in your basement. I can't do that anymore.
That's too bad.
Yep.
How would you describe your music for our listeners?
It's just kind of like the after effects of someone that got into poetry and lyrics, and I followed, a lot of the 60s teen idols, 50s teen idols like Ricky Nelson and
I heard
Bobby
that
Fuller
in some of your music, yeah.
And I always loved the Bobby Fuller 4 sound, like the Crickets, Buddy Holly, and I try to infuse that into some of the stuff that I make.
And when I listened to that one song, I saw images of those fake buildings that they had in nuclear blast zones, where they would have all the homes all set up and the mannequins and everything in the homes and all the furniture and everything all set up. Yeah, it sounded really like Kennedy era. Some of the stuff. Do you do like surf music?
Yeah, I have a couple instrumentals on there. surf
love
style.
that stuff.
I love,
so.
that surf kind of
It's so
style.
refreshing because
Beach Boys.
everybody's needs to be so important now, and you just come across being very honest, and I love that about you. So.
Yeah, I try to do that.
I had to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Don't be sorry. Well, on that note, we want to listen to something of yours. What are we going to play? I guess we're going to play something. I can't see it. Off
She Walks
Del
Like
Rivers
a Robot.
Story.
I think it's that one.
Oh, She Walks Like a Robot. This
I think
is
it's that
Del
one.
Rivers.
We'll see if it's the right one.
Clyborn Yates back here with Chloe, and we're interviewing Del Rivers.
Thanks.
We're just listening to She Walks Like a Robot. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I get all kinds of goosebumps. That's off the Del Rivers Story.
Right.
Which is like a compilation thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a compilation, and the first CD I actually did a little comedy stuff on there, and some of the music. There's a compilation of everything. Some of the stuff I did back in the 80s. I'd say the She Walks Like a Robot came on the 90s or early thousands.
Really? Okay. Well, I like it. Good production, and there you go.
Yeah, thanks.
How old were you when you first started playing? What was your very, very first instrument? Do you remember?
I don't really play an instrument, but I did try to play drums. I was like a drummer after high school. My sister was dating this guy that was a jazz drummer named Blaine Ribkey. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He lives in like Arizona or something. And he had a Ludwig drum set that the Beatles had, exact Ludwigs. And I would play it in my basement. I just fool around.
Wow, so you're a drummer, but you don't play any other instruments?
I fool around with guitar and piano, and basically I come up with a few notes with musicians that know how to play. They read where I'm going, and then they make a song out of it.
So you write all this music, and then other people are playing.
Yeah, other people play on it.
Wow.
All different
See,
musicians.
I misunderstood there, Chloe. I didn't know what was going on with that.
So I don't know if you would consider me more of a studio musician more than a garage musician, but I'm like a studio musician that plays garage music, pretty much.
I see.
So I do have an affection for 60s music.
But you don't, obviously. But you don't play any other instruments, just the drums, and you don't play the drums.
I'm not proficient. I'm like all thumbs musician.
You don't play drums on any of your music?
Oh, probably on some of the demos. I guess, I play like percussion. I play like maracas, the tambourine, any kind of percussion I could do.
Do you hire these musicians?
Sometimes they're hired, but most of the time they're just really good friends of mine that just, want to play. They like the same music.
How do you present the music to them? How does that work out?
I used to make tapes, or I would play with them, while they just kind of strum around looking for notes on a guitar to play along with the words to what makes sense. I had a friend named Ed Caruth. He plays in a band that I can't remember the name of right now, but he used to have the nickname of Hank Blast, and he would like play my songs like almost psychically, like I would think of the song and sing it out on tape, then he would like psychically think of the notes. That's how I came up with a lot of songs.
Do you enjoy doing that, or would you rather be a player?
I rather wish I could play, but I just I just can't. I'm too much of a scatterbrain, basically.
Come on, of course you could play.
I probably could play a little bit.
Even I could play.
Yeah, I mean I could like play the same note over and over or something like that. I could do that. Or 2 or 3 notes. They're kind of like a Joey Ramone. I heard that he used to play 2 strings on a guitar to make.
That's all he needed, though.
Yep.
That's all
just
he needed.
Strum the guitar on 2 strings.
You're not Joey Ramone. You're not doing that.
Not as much because I'm in the situation I'm in. I'm living at my parents' house and they don't like any noise or music.
Get out of here.
Seriously, they
really?
like some music, but they don't listen to. They don't like having like practice music going on in the basement or anything. They're really old. I mean, older. They're not supportive, I should say.
How old were you when you first started writing?
Like I said, high school, college. Back in 1978, 79.
Wow.
I was trying to write for a friend of mine. I was trying to get him to do the music for my words because I started writing with poetry. I used to write weird science fiction poetry kind of stuff. And then I tried to make lyrics, and he could never think of any songs for my lyrics. They were too weird or something. And then eventually I was able to do it. I kind of figured out how to do the songs a certain way or how to write for certain people.
Do you ever get writer's block?
Yeah.
Then what do you do about that?
You get around it by just looking for old stuff and rewrite stuff that's old.
Go out, commit a crime, something like that.
Yeah. Look for graffiti.
I know, I can see it in your face.
I look for graffiti and try to make a song out of it, Go to the bathrooms, look for stuff written on the walls,
Oh, boy. Or whatever comes to you in the shower.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of people write, when I was a kid.
Del was here.
I was there. When I was a kid, you'd have something that would make you so mad you had to write about it. Like, punk was, like, at the big time back in the late 70s. And I'd write, like, punk songs, or something that was, like, punkish. One song I wrote, I think it's on the bootleg CD I got on there, that's kind of a punk song. I actually played guitar on it. The one that looks like a bootleg. Not that one, the other one. The one that it's on there. On the small picture.
Oh, okay.
The one with my old pictures on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. It's got like me playing kind of like a punkish kind of song. I don't know if you see that. But I don't want to play that here. I want to play my good stuff. I just want to play the good stuff.
Okay.
What was the next song that you were interested in hearing? I could tell you about that.
Well, we're not sure. Chloe might have another question.
Do you have another question?
Oh, yeah. So, I'm going to ask you this, but I think I already know the answer. Was there a lot of music being played in your house when you were growing up?
Then I can say yes, because my parents, when they were younger, always had the stereo on, and they'd be playing The Ventures, Everly Brothers.
There you go.
Had some roots.
So there's your influences right
I did have some roots, but they did also, they're a different generation. They would get into Ray Conniff and stuff like that. You know, Lester Lannon, that was like their big thing.
Bobby Vinton.
You know, yeah, that style, Bobby Vinton. Kind of like the corny 50s.
I remember that.
But I was
like
only into the really good stuff like The Ventures and, you know, Bill Haley and the Comets would play that. That stuff was really good.
Okay. So would you say that those bands, The Ventures, etc., those type of bands are your biggest influence?
You know, it's funny. Even though I grew up in the 60s, my biggest influences are the 50s, because my parents would play stuff in the late 50s, and it was more innocent, more direct. Mm-hmm. You know, it had a little bit more country style to it. And I dig that stuff, man. That's where my roots come from. But I still, as much as it being my roots, I'm very open to new music. You know, still open to new stuff.
Well, we can hear your influences in your music.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question I ask everybody, and it's a fun question.
I like the truth couch. It's nice over here.
Yeah, you're doing good. See, when you do the arm like that over the head, we get that a lot. That was the Bass Reeves thing. You started doing that.
That's when you either pull your hair or you pull your ear off.
Some guys were almost like. I guess some guys weep. Grown men weep on that couch. Okay, so you're going to go to deserted island.
Okay.
For a while.
All right.
For quite a while.
Yeah.
No music.
Nothing.
You got music. You got women. You got food. You know. Adequate everything, except there's no music. You can only bring one album.
Oh, mine or somebody else's?
Dal, relax.
Okay.
You can only bring one album. It's got to be either the Beatles or the Stones.
Oh my God, that cannot be answered. That has to be. It has to be a reality situation.
If you don't answer it, then you don't.
All right, I'll take the Beatles. Beatles.
Okay, very good. What album?
Oh, jeez. Like there's so many to choose from.
See, this is
a I'll tell you,
question.
I would take.
This defines you as a musician and as a person.
Volume 2 of the. You remember that 3-volume set that they had, like Free as a Bird and Real Love?
Yes.
The new Beatles stuff that came out.
Right.
I would take the second volume to Anthology number 2.
Anthology number 2, that's a first. Nobody's ever brought
Anthology
that
number
before.
2 of the Beatles.
Wow.
That's the best Beatles stuff there is.
Well, mine is White Album, of course. I would take the White Album.
Right. I think there's 1 or 2 songs
she's
from the White
Album.
Album.
She's going to take the introducing the album, introducing the Beatles on VJ Records.
Oh, yes. It sounds better. The sound on that is impeccable. I have that, too.
Please me.
Yep. That's one of the first. I got that from a neighbor, this lady next door to me, and I borrowed it. And it was a freaking great album. It played, I saw her standing there like over and over and over and over, consistently.
So in the clutch, you came out being a Beatles guy, and that's cool.
Yep.
Because I'm a Beatles guy, and most of us are. Even though I love the Stones.
Yeah. One of my friends' band was the Insiders. They were known for doing Beatles.
I love Charlie Watts.
Charlie Watts, yes.
Right?
Yeah, big time Stones fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the Stones.
Let's listen to something else now. I want to. What we were talking about, what we wanted to hear.
Something off of this.
Yeah, let's do something off of this. Return of Del and the Electric Cowboys. I even just like the sound of that. And you signed it.
This was actually a release that I pulled from.
Chloe, I want to take you out to dinner.
I like cover songs on it.
Just another face in the big old city. Is that the name of the album?
Yeah, I did that drawing on the front cover too. It was my drawing. One of only 2 or 3
Tally's
artworks.
on medication. See that?
It's an African mask. I just thought it was on my friend's wall, and
But it's also like in New York City.
Right, in the city background. Put a little city
nice?
on the bottom.
Nice. What do you want to hear off of this?
Can I take a look at that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I think you could play my little V6, the live version.
Yeah, anything you want, man.
It's short and sweet. It's nice.
Let's do it to
Number 5. It's one of the first few times that I performed live, and actually forgot the lyrics, but it sounds good anyway.
Del Rivers.
You'll like it.
Here he comes.
And this is Chloe Bravada, and we're back on the Clyborn Yates Show with Del Rivers. And you just heard My Little V6.
Yes.
From the Return of Del and the Electric Cowboys CD.
Oh, exactly.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, that particular version was a live version recorded at the old Red Creek in Rochester, New York, or Henrietta, more like towards Henrietta. The band that backed me up on that was the Riviera Playboys, a.k.a. also known as the Projectiles. Dan Frank doing the introduction on that, and really great guitar player from Rochester, and he plays in a lot of bands. And also Dave Anderson, the bass player, has the studio that I record a lot of my songs in. He played bass on that.
Okay, well, you play with different bands.
Yeah, I work with a couple different bands. The Projectiles, Riviera Playboys, those guys. Also McFadden's Parachute, which are sort of also known as LSD Enigma. They're like the release CDs under that name too.
Uh-huh.
McFadden's Parachute just released a CD that a couple songs are making the charts in WFMU in New York City.
Wow.
A couple songs I wrote, like Robin Gibb is Dying. That's one of the songs I wrote for them.
Wow.
It sounds a little bit like a Bee Gees tribute to
I'll bet.
Bee Gees sort of song. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And I also work with Luther and the BBBs, and currently working with Brett Loudon of Aces and Eights.
Cool.
There's a couple of bands from Rochester.
You write for all of them?
Write with them, write for them.
You sing?
Work with them, sing with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
The biggest thing I got into is playing with the Quatloos, a band with Mike Murray from Whole Lotta Shakin' radio show. It was a band that was around for a while. It had Mike Murray. The drummer was Brian Goodman. It also had Walt O'Brien and Rick Waldorfer play guitar. They were like a ultimate garage band, and also had Darren Bernessel from McFadden's Parachute, and they're working on a CD of their stuff that I played maracas and tambourine. There was the Quatloos, and also I think Fertility Wright Brothers. That was another group that Mike Murray ran.
The Quaaludes?
Quatloos, like from Star Trek.
Okay.
4,000 Quatloos.
So is this geek rock?
What do you mean? Like nerdy kind of stuff? It's garage rock, garage music, 60s.
Okay.
I'd say the Quatloos are more of a cover band, but like Fertility Wright Brothers, they were pretty original. They recorded with the Liars and went to Boston and stuff like that. They're pretty popular. That's the last band I played maracas with, actually. We did a benefit one time with them.
Okay. All right. Clyborn, did you want to talk about where any of the recording was done?
Oh, well, no.
Yeah, well, we did it Saxon recording, most of the stuff. We did some at Chuck McCoy's house. Chuck McCoy from Legends Radio. He's like the big DJ. I did a couple studio CDs at his apartment. We did a comedy CD with him, and also like one of the music CDs I put together. That would be the Return of Del Rivers.
Uh-oh. Do you prefer playing live or doing recording?
I want to perform live, but I'm always prevented from doing so for
Why?
some reason. I don't know. It's just one of those life things.
Really?
Yeah, fear of large crowds.
Really?
Stuff like that. I can't remember my own lyrics. I have a hard time remembering my lyrics.
But you do prefer doing live.
We do everything live in the studio, but it's kind of always
live
without an audience.
in front of an audience.
That's what I would prefer to do if I could. If I could.
You have fear of crowds?
Yeah.
How bad?
It's enough to make me forget my lyrics. That's one of those things.
Everybody's got it, man.
Yeah.
I think the more
I always have to have my lyrics with me.
The more you do it, the less nervous you'll get.
Oh yeah, like some stuff I imagine I could just do off the top of my head if I had the mood to do it.
Because the first time I had to perform in a battle of the bands, I couldn't hold my drumsticks. I was so my hands were
that nervous.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
I would rather
had a friend
slit
that
my
was
throat
shaky.
than go out on stage and do that. I would rather have died right there.
It's kind of like a fear of it's either a fear of success
Fear
or
of
a fear of
success.
failure.
Both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause
You do fear success.
Both of them are scary. And so,
Yep.
you sometimes prefer to fail so you can just crawl away into a hole and die.
That's the way it
Instead of
goes.
being in the spotlight going, I hate this. Hi, thank you. Do you have any, like, weird, you've done some shows, though, right?
Couple of them.
How about, like, colorful gig stories?
Well, just the one
Something
story I can think
weird?
of. I played at an open mic, with maracas and tambourine. I was a percussionist. And the drummer that we were using had drumsticks in his bag. And he also had a loaded gun in the same bag.
Come on, man.
And he kept hitting the bag against his drum set to get a sound or something. I said, the gun's freaking loaded. You gotta get you got a freaking gun in there. What are you, an idiot?
What was he, the Goombas wanted him or what?
I don't know. It's just this weird guy these hang out with
Hey,
open mic.
Yeah, I need a gun over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got a gun in my bag, yeah. Holy shit.
Go ahead,
Frank wants to say something.
This is director Frank Stamm. You can find my videos on YouTube. I'm filming Dell today, but I just
Closer
like
to your
say,
mouth. Get it right close to your mouth.
The reason Dell attracts guys who would carry guns and knapsacks and things is that he is the nicest guy in the world, and
He is a pretty nice guy.
No one else will hang out with these guys. He attracts lunatics.
Wow. That's why he's on the show.
I almost have to agree with him. Because even in high school, I used to hang out with, the nerds or the people that didn't hang out with the people that used to be the cliques and stuff like that.
You're psychotic.
Yeah, I am.
I love psychotics.
Yeah, it's kind of like, instead of on the outside being punkish, I'm punkish on the inside.
Okay.
Scourges type guy.
Let's play some more music.
Let's do that.
Let's move on to this Venus flytrap shit.
Yeah, the new stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about the new stuff.
Surfing Dog
Talk to me. Come on.
is a great song.
I love the shit out of this
It's
thing.
actually a song I wrote for Cousin Al in
Got
the new generation.
7 songs on it. What does this represent?
These are just bits and pieces of more songs that I put together in a studio.
And who's the band?
We worked on a couple songs for the McFadden's Parachute stuff at the same time.
Who's the band?
The band backing me up on that is two
the
guys.
Venus Flytrappers?
Yep, the Venus Flytrappers.
And who are these guys?
It would be the drummer from McFadden's Parachute and the bass player from the Projectiles.
And who are they? Come on.
They're just studio guys. Or
You don't know who they are.
Oh, their names.
Holy moly.
It's a whiskey, I think.
Is there a dentist in the house?
It's Dave Anderson on bass, and the drummer is Darren Brenessel.
Okay.
Darren Brenessel, the drummer.
Very
Dave
nice.
Anderson on guitar and bass. He played both instruments.
Who's this Al guy you were talking
Very
Oh,
good.
Cousin Al is the guy I wrote the song for originally back in the 80s. And then I decided to do it myself. You can actually hear a demo of me playing this song with blocks of wood for percussion.
Thank you,
When I
Del.
did that.
What's the name of this song, anyway?
Surfing Dog.
Surfing Dog.
Yep. If you have a dog out there, it's great for dogs.
Right
They love
up
it.
your alley, Clyborn.
I'm loving it.
And there's a video of that. If you happen to see Frank Stamm put together a video of that one on YouTube.
When did this come out?
The CD earlier this year.
Okay. But it's earlier 2015. This is
Yep.
Del Rivers and the Venus
Flytrappers.
Trappers.
Down to Malibu and sand in my shoe. Gonna riding in my woody till 1:45. We're meeting some cool chicks. I brought the whole crew. That's why they call me the surfing dog. Putting on striped shirts, a cruising Wahine. All the girls there wearing that's bikini. Beach balls, frisbees, hula hoops, and kites. Going to the big beach party tonight. That's why they call me the surfing dog. Surfing dog, surfing dog. the surfing dog. That's why they call me the surfing dog. Girls everywhere, I chase them around. I can find them anywhere, I can hear the sound. I love the summer days, playing ball on the beach. But when that winter is over, I might need a leash. That's why they call me the surfing dog. Surfing dog. That's why they call me the surfing dog. So that's why they call me the surfing dog. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. Ow.
And we're back on the Clyborn Yates show with Clyborn Yates and Del Rivers and Frank Stamm. Hi, Frank.
He's our guest.
And we just heard Surfin' Dog.
Yeah, Surfing Dog.
And you could tell me the name of the album or the CD because I
It's
just
from
can't get it.
It's from a CD called Perugia Way.
Okay.
Perugia Way is actually the street where the Beatles actually met Elvis Presley, and I have a picture of them on the back of Elvis looking at a Beatles thing. And
Get out of here.
it's true. And I wanted
You're
to
so
make the
full
gist
of
of the
shit.
album. No, I'm serious. I wanted to make the gist of the album like a Beatles meet Elvis Presley kind of sound. And that's why I try to, at the get-go, I try to start like that.
Cool.
But with that song, that's an old song I wrote in the 80s for Cousin Al and the New Generation.
Cool.
It's a surf rock band in Rochester. Or was, I guess.
Huh. You all right over there, Clyborn? Okay.
What's your question? Do you have a question?
So, when you write, what inspires you to write?
It could be just anything on a spur of the moment. If I think about it too much, I can't write. It has to be it has to come to me. You know, one time I went out to see a band and I was inspired to write a rockabilly tune because I liked their style and I wanted to write something that was their style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stuff like that. And I just, I'm not prolific. I'm not
so
very
the
prolific.
lyrics just kind of start coming to you.
Yeah, and I just work around it and make it work.
You're not prolific? You showed up here with 15 freaking... You're the most prolific artist that we've ever had in here.
No,
So don't talk to me about that. He's such a liar.
If I had
I
the
was gonna
money
say the
and the
same
time,
thing.
I would be a lot more prolific. Let's put it in those terms. You know, you have to have the money, the time, the scheduling. You have to find the musicians.
Yeah, it
To make
does
it work.
take time, yeah.
Look,
Scheduling.
He's got so many CDs, now I have to make a Del Rivers section. We're gonna,
We'll reserve a whole shelf.
You have to get the box set or something.
I got the box set. Now we're going to do the Del Rivers hour, and we're probably going to do a marathon. And then, be like the Del Rivers show. Hey, 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 hey.
Well, not all of my songs are winners. I mean, there's a lot of cover songs. There's songs that suck.
No, we're going to play everything, man.
Everything. a lot of stuff you don't want to play. You just don't want to play.
24/7, Del Rivers. Come on down. Beat Niagara.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so Del Rivers.
Yep, I'm listening.
If someone wanted to contact you,
Yes.
write with you,
Mm-hmm.
have you perform with them, whatever, how would they go about doing that?
They'd have to ask me first, and
No, how
probably
do they
my
contact
Twitter
you?
page. I have a
They have
page.
to buy you dinner first, too?
Yeah. Buy me dinner. Especially if they're female, then they have to do that route. But But I do have a Twitter page. You can, under the Del Rivers Show. Because it's based on a show that I do also. I do a show like yours, but it's like live video. Not live, but it's taped video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's in Twitter. And it also has a link to my record, Perugia Way.
Okay.
It's an Italian word that was also used for, remember the court case in Italy about the girl that killed her roommate? Yeah. It was the same place, Perugia. But the one that Elvis lived at was called Perugia Way, where the Beatles met him. And I just took that name as the name of the CD.
Okay, so you wanted to sing a song for us.
Well, this is a comedy song that I did with, if you ever watched my Frontal Lobe Dumplings video show that's on, like, YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's an old comedy group I used to do stuff with. And this is one of the songs, it's like a chorus. Well, you think of us Beach Boys, kind of a bouncy type thing. Well, you could try and try, but towels and pants will never dry at the laundromat. You got nickels and you got dimes, but with no quarters, you ain't got no time at the laundromat. See you later down the road. Can't escape that heavy load from the laundromat. You could try and try, but towels and pants will never dry at the laundromat.
Very nice.
That's for your Monty Python type people out there.
Very nice.
We got one more to finish up, I guess.
Well, I was just going to ask you though, what you did in your, what do you do in your spare time when you're not writing or?
I'm a hobbyist. I collect CDs, all sorts of music. I like soundtracks. I like anything that sounds like the Beatles. I collect a lot of that stuff. Okay. I'm into UFOs, weird stuff like that.
But not
the kind of stuff you see in
vampires.
Not so much vampires, but mostly aliens, UFOs,
Mars.
physical stuff that goes with it. Eric von Daniken, that ancient pyramids, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Graham Hancock, he's another one. He has a recent book out. He's really good.
Okay, get the Del Rivers crystal ball out now. We're going to look in the Del Rivers crystal ball.
Okay.
You're going to look in it. Don't just tell me you got it. You got to look in it. And you got to tell me what you think you'll be doing about a year from now. What do you want to be doing about a year from now?
A year from now, I'll be finishing up my newest CD that I'm working with Brett Loudon from Aces and Eights.
Okay.
That's his band. It's mostly just me and Brett doing the stuff, but he has his full band with him. I think John Borelli on drums, Ken Peters on bass, I believe, and Brett Loudon will be doing bass and guitar on that. Now, I just basically write the words and hammer out the melodies.
Cool.
There's some cover songs that we do. One that we should play, but we're not going to play it right now. That's not finished. Just like Eddie, which is an old Joe Meek tune from England. We're doing a lot of Joe Meek stuff like that.
Okay.
Shaking all over.
Okay, so a couple years down the road, Del Rivers is a household name.
Right.
You've made it big. You've got a couple $1 million in the bank.
I would be like 57 years old, right? Something like that, pushing 60.
We all got to come. We all got to come into our time.
Yeah, I guess
whatever.
Rolling Stones. I guess that's an example. 70 years old.
There you go. Would you still live in Western New York?
I want to. I'd like to, but I do have a chance to live back out in California because I have relatives there, and I might move back eventually. But I think I'm going to stick.
Where's
around
that?
Here.
Where at?
Oh, in San Francisco. Around that area.
Smart man, right there.
Yep.
Smart man.
Nice place. The only thing I don't like about San Francisco, aside from the earthquake stuff, I don't mind the weather. It's not bad compared to Rochester. It's the hills. I don't like the freaking hills.
Oh, poor baby.
I think that was part of the beginning of my slow descent and having like leg problems and knee problems. It's going up and down hills.
If you can drive a standard around, San Francisco, you're a really good driver.
Oh yeah, they have a nice transmission type thing going on. That's great.
So,
I used to live. My sister used to live next to the Crookedest Hill, the one with that was up and down Lombard Street, right around there. I think she lived around there.
Cool. So it'd either be here or San Francisco.
Yeah,
Or a little bit of both,
I'm gonna stay
maybe.
in Rochester probably until my parents pass on. Then I'll think about moving. But right now I'm stuck here.
Would you keep a place here?
He's stuck.
Oh, in Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Buffalo a lot.
Okay.
I like Canada. I probably either live on the Canadian side or right on the edge, so I can go back and forth.
Cool.
Nice place. I love Niagara Falls.
Cool. Well,
Very
Niagara
cool.
Falls like you too.
The only thing about Niagara Falls, like you talk about heights and stuff, I get vertigo. If I look over the edge and I look down, I feel like I'm gonna fall into the freaking falls.
I never get real close to the edge myself.
Yeah, it's scary.
I feel
It's
bad.
scary.
Oh, yeah, it is. I don't care how hard you hold on.
Not the
how
falls
white your
part,
knuckles turn when you're holding on to that
yeah, that
rail.
part
It's
before
so
the falls
scary.
where the electrical buildings are and stuff like that.
People jumping in all the time. You don't know about it.
They jump in there?
Oh, they're all the time. In
Wow.
fact, it was just a couple weeks ago.
But I think they're usually
I was
known.
talking to Chloe on Facebook, and they said, "Yep, another lady just jumped in."
Oh my gosh!
Hey,
Did they recover her? They get her out of there? Or?
They pull people out, but a
I
lot of
actually
times
heard
it's
somebody
not.
survived it.
it's
There's
not-
a couple people that actually survived the
Yeah,
the
a
jump
long
in.
time ago.
Yeah.
But they pull them out, but it's usually months later
Yeah.
or even longer.
After they're
If they could get the jumpers on a schedule, that'd be kind of an attraction.
Some of the cases, though, are really tragic because I know of them personally. But anyways, that's pretty much all we had to ask you about.
I appreciate the interview.
Is there anything you want to talk about before we go?
Yeah, we're just working. Me and Frank Stamm are going to work on some more movie stuff and some more songs. We do a lot of experimental type songs that are different from what I'm doing with Brett Loudon. And we're going to play one. This is the last song on the CD.
yes, it is. We're going to do that as an outro. Well, I guess
Duesenberg.
we want to thank you guys for coming down. I want to wish you the best, man. You are a special kind of guy because you work tirelessly.
Yeah.
Sort of
I
like
try to
me
do what I
and, me and
can.
Chloe, but you've been doing it longer than us. And he shows up here with 15 discs. And I promise you, we will be having the Dove Rivers Marathon and the Dove Rivers Day, Dove Rivers Week, and Dove Rivers
So it sounds like a
Special.
festival to me.
There you go. Hey.
Festival.
Amazing.
Well, and I want to thank you both for coming in. And
This is a very pleasurable experience.
he's making a mountain out of CDs over here.
The only thing I have to say that my early CDs don't play anymore, but these are ones that actually work.
He's got his own section in the Western New York Music Library.
Yeah,
There you go.
taking up a lot of room in there.
Uh-huh.
You're going another shelf.
That's right. Anyways, thank you for coming in, and I hope you'll come back again.
I will, definitely.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, even you, Frank. We love you too. Okay, guys, thanks for coming in. You've been listening to an exclusive interview of Del Rivers.
Yeah, the only place you can hear the Laundromat Song.
And I'll be putting a video up online in a couple months of this show.
Yeah, this show will be on October 30th, which is today.
Yeah, Halloween.
You just been listening to the interview from the king of geek rock, Del Rivers, on the Clyborn Yates Show with Chloe Bravada on the Beat Niagara. Thank
Sounds
you for
good.
listening. Oh yeah, let's play a song.
We'll end off with
Just from Del Rivers and the Venus Flytrappers.
this is me and Frank Stamm together on this.
A film project, actually. The soundtrack for a film we were working on.
He's wearing G-string when he played this.
What's the name of it?
Duesenberg.
All the Way. It's called Duesenberg All the Way.
Duesenberg all the way. Hellhound on my trail. You got your feet up off the ground.
Rosenberg all the way. Biscuits at the bottom of the box.
Hey, everybody. We're back. And Clyborn Yates back here with Chloe Bravada. And that was your Del Rivers interview. What do you think? Everybody liked that?
I hope so. We did. We had a great time.
I hope everybody liked that. I sure did.
He was fun. And Frank was fun. Frank does independent films, I guess, or something.
Yes,
like
he
that.
shot the 10,000 Maniac video, and he's trying to get Mary Ramsey.
Here.
He said he talked to Mary Ramsey, lead singer for 10,000 Maniacs, try to get her in here.
Yep, he
Don't
did.
Don't know if that'll be successful. You might have to do a follow-up on that,
You
Chloe.
sent her a message, actually. I got a copy of it. But maybe I will have to do a follow-up on it. Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking so, too. Can you turn my sound up a hair? Thank you. You turn it down, and then I sound like I'm talking through a pipe, and it drives
Really?
me crazy. Yes.
I
Drives
never
me
seem
nuts.
to have a problem.
Because you don't turn yours down. You only turn mine down.
Well, we're going through two different systems here. I'm going through the main board.
So
You're
yours
going through the
doesn't
amplifier.
get turned down, and you always forget to turn mine back up. And then I start thinking I'm going deaf, and then I start thinking I sound like I'm talking through a pipe, and then I realize that my volume isn't on.
Ah.
Or it's on really low.